name is Jessie, this is Blake, and welcome to the first installment on the Blind Horse Foundation instructional series. And today we will be talking about how to install the reward cue in your blind horse and why it's important. So this week's video showcases Zito, my sighted Palomino, who is not only one of my main riding horses, but has been a reliable lesson horse in the past. Zito is joining us because some of you have a horse that still has eyesight, so the pattern to use can be slightly different to install the reward cue. I do think it's worth teaching your partially blind horses to work off of audio cues, as many of these horses do end up going completely blind after a stretch of time, and teaching them audio cues can help your partially blind horse grow confident with you in their blind spots besides. On a side note, my apologies guys, the original video did have my fully blind boy Blink involved, but for whatever reason the video editor didn't like the clips I took of him. Regardless, Zito did an amazing job with being an example horse for this video, and Blink will join us next time. So let's go over the basic pattern of installing the reward cue with your horse. Lucky for us, it's really easy, but there are a few key factors that can trip us humans up, especially if your horse is sighted. But when we get it right, the cool thing is that the horse's brain will start releasing endorphins, the feel-good chemicals, when they hear the audible part of the reward cue, which sets us up to use it at a distance further on in the horse's training. The basic pattern to install the reward cue is audio cue, whether that be a click, the word cookie, whatever, followed up immediately by a treat. It really is that simple. The only rule is at this stage you must immediately give the treat out after the reward cue so your horse associates that particular sound with the reward. Tips to remember. To avoid a pushy horse, do not hand out the treat close to your body. I usually keep an arm's length between me and the horse when giving out a reward, so the horse learns that the reward comes out only at that distance. Starting out with a closed fist around the treat will also aid in helping your horse not to be pushy for the treat, which once they realize the pattern right now is hand then treat after the cue, they will usually try to push a bit for it at first. It's important that the audio cue and reward dispensing should only happen when the horse is standing a respectable distance away and is still and quiet at this stage. The big difference between teaching a blind horse and a partially blind horse this cue is the eyesight, of course. You can still use the visual part of the cue if your horse is partly blind, and more than likely your partly blind horse will swing their head around trying to use their sight to see where your hand is at this stage. Don't worry, and don't try to force them to use their blind side. They will associate it the same as long as you use an audio cue before the reward. With a fully blind horse, you will have to help them along by touching their muzzle with your fist, but the same polite rules apply to them as with sighted horses or partly sighted horses. Now let's see a clip of how I time the audio cue with the reward with Zito. Hi everyone, if you're noticing that I'm a little bit squinty right now, sorry, it's really bright out and I have light colored eyes. So, why is installing the reward cue so important when you're working with either sight deficient or completely blind horses? It's really important because the horse can either not see you at all, have any type of body language affirming that they are correct, or they have trouble seeing it. So using a vocal cue of some kind to install a reward helps the horse know when they are doing the right thing. And then as you kind of see with the clip with Blink, because Blink is quite a bit farther along than some of my other horses, I didn't have time to film with Jay today. If you guys would like me to film with my giant thoroughbred, let me know. But the purpose of these instructional videos is to kind of give you like a 5-minute weekly kind of instructional video how-to help you with your guys' sight deficient or blind horses. But anyways, you can see that communication can actually extend to an affirmation when your horse is farther away from you. So you wouldn't be able to give them a treat, let's say when you're lunging and your horse is like 20 feet away from you. But if you can familiarize your horse with your tone of voice up close first with the reward cue, which, by the way, it is important to separate the cookie cue versus the long range affirming cue, but that comes in later in the horse's training. This week, I'd really love it. This week, I would love to see you guys work on just focusing on installing the reward cue up close. But yeah, further on, your horse can associate your tone of voice that you use when you're up close when you use that tone of voice far away, because horses are way smarter than people think they are. Anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to comment in the, down below. This was a pretty candid, I do not have a script right now, so this was a pretty candid statement. But anyways, have fun with your blind horses, and again, please do join our group on Facebook, the Blind Horse Foundation. And if you feel up to donating towards turning this into a nonprofit in the future, please do look at our GoFundMe that is designed exactly to make that possible. Anyways, have a good day, guys.